Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Environment Sustainability Committee meeting, September 10th, 2025. Couple of side conversations going on here. I'd like to call to order declarations conflict of interest. Seeing none, need approval of the agenda. Approved by Mayor Brown, seconded by Councillor Tweel. Approval of minutes from August 26, 2025. Moved by Your Worship, seconded by Councillor Tweel. Any business arising from the minutes?
Mr. Chair,
Your Worship.
could I just get you, do you have a hard copy there?
I do not.
Oh, you don't. Okay, if you could go to page, I think it's under page 4, it's the digital copy. Questions raised about the public transit file. I know it wasn't on the agenda, but it came up under new business. And again, my understanding of new business, correct me if I'm wrong, under the procedural bylaw, is to put it out there, then to get the information, then come back. So I don't, looking at the discussion that took place, it get into some of the nuts and bolts of the Capital Area Transit Coordinating Committee. And like anything, you have to do research. And my research showed that on October 23rd, 2012, Council approved a Transit Coordinating Committee terms of reference and operating agreement. And in that agreement, it says parties agree for good and valuable consideration, the sufficiency of which is acknowledged as follows. Section 1, there shall be established a transit coordinating committee comprised of the chief administrative officers of Charlottetown, Stratford, and Cornwall, each of whom it is understood is the representative of their respective council. So there's no mayors on it. It's just the CAOs. And under Section 2, it's to deal with all matters rising out of the transit agreement to cooperatively promote the transit system in between the municipalities, to provide direction and feedback to TRIAS on operational matters. Section 5, the committee members shall have the authority, this is the committee's authority, to provide their input and make decisions without the need for a consultation with their respective councils, which include the following. And there are A to K responsibilities where they can make those decisions. Section 6, the committee shall have the authority to consult with outside legal, accounting, and other professional or operational resources. And the committee shall meet monthly or otherwise. Section 8 is the chair of the committee shall be the chief administrative officer of the City of Charlottetown. It is understood that the secretary of the committee shall be an employee of the City or of Charlottetown appointed by the CAO of Charlottetown. And the CAO, any CAO can appoint a designate to serve in his or her place. That's the authority that the CAO has in that committee. So the committee shall provide semi-annual reports, ridership statistics, demographic ridership trends, route analysis, updates on matters such as CPAS status, etc. So that agreement, as I said, was passed by all three councils, and ours was passed on the 23rd of October. And the council of the day from 2010 to 2014, it said the only councillor absent, two were, Councillors Rice and Bernard. So that's the guiding document for the CATCC. There's nothing else out there that presents some boogeyman behind the door. I just wanted to make sure that, Mr. Chair, I know that you come from an environmental background, that was part of the discussion today as business arising from the minutes. Thank you.
So 2012, long before my time.
Yeah.
So are you looking to bring something else up under, or are you just clarifying at that point what?
Well, the questions that were asked was who's on the committee? Well, the CAOs, from each of the municipalities or his or her designate. And I believe we do have a secretary, and I think that's one of our administrative assistants, correct? And do we have someone from the Department of Environment Sustainability? I think it's Jessica. And do we have any of the, like, for example, Director of Community Services, does he sit on it? Or does a designate of his service? Can I just ask our manager, is that all right, sir?
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as the mayor said, the 3 CAOs are CATCC. They are the committee. The CAOs can assign a designate if they choose, which happens frequently. The CAO of Stratford often assigns their deputy CAO. Our CAO has assigned a director, Richard, in the past. Anna and myself attend as staff those meetings often because we are required to bring information, provide recommendations, bring back reports on things, budget considerations, and so on and so on. So we attend as staff to these meetings, but we're not part of the committee. The committee is the 3 CAOs of the 3 municipalities who can assign a designate, which often happens. And Elmira, or our admin person, is there to take minutes and set the agenda.
Thank you, Jessica. So, all right, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I know we did arise some questions, and you helped, and seat 5, Councillor Tweel.
It's great. Thank you. I was the one that brought the question up because I wanted to get information with regards to what the progress is, what the issues are, what the challenges are, and quite frankly, we're not getting information. So that motivated me to bring it up at the committee meeting. So, yeah, I understand the structure. I understand all of that. I also learned at our last committee meeting that when it comes to the new routes that are being announced, it doesn't come from the committee. That's with staff. We approve the budget, correct me if I'm wrong. We approve the budget, and then staff go out and establish the new routes. And so I guess my question is, what role does this committee play with respect to the transit file? Does this committee, are we on a need-to-know basis? Do we get information? Do we have input? Is there any collaboration? Do we get to ask questions? And if none of that, if we're not able to do any of that, and, you know, it's null and void from our perspective, then that's great. You know, maybe I'll choose a different venue in order to ask my questions. So that's what motivated me, Mr. Chair, to bring it up, because I thought that transit comes under, terms of reference for transit comes under the Environment Sustainability Committee, but now, you know, the mayor took the time to address, you know, the capital areas transit coordinating committee. You know, and as I learned at the last meeting, staff established the routes. We don't have to approve them. We're not there to approve them. So that even brings up a broader question. What role do the members, the elected members, play on this committee? I'd like someone to spell that out for me.
My response to that, Councillor Tweel, is like, if staff are going to make new routes, I don't believe the council has the say in if we need to decide upon ourselves as council members to put new routes for the input. The committee here, we discuss, we receive our reports, we hand stuff off to council. But if staff are going to put routes in place, that's staff's job. It's not council members. Correct me, Jessica, if I'm wrong.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Councillor Tweel, to answer your question about what role do you play in transit. So every year we come to committee to talk about budget. So at that time, you can bring forward any ideas you have on what you want to see out in the communities in regards to transit, and that will be funneled through our process of considering what we do with our operator. At any time, you can bring forward what you're hearing from constituents. Tell us what you're hearing, where people are asking for more service. We can put that into consideration. Anna's here to present today on improving bus stops. Bring to us, through the committee and otherwise, where you're wanting to see bus stop improvements, and we will work through that. We get emails on a very regular basis from members of council, from their constituents, making transit recommendations. That is the role of council. Hear from their people, bring it forward to us, and we work within that. We get dozens of emails every day from residents wanting different service, new routes, new shelters, new benches. And part of that input is from counselors. And we do the best we can to accommodate everyone's needs.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you
Chair.
for your answer. So is the committee going to be made aware of those recommendations from the constituents in the community so we can become informed too? You know, I know what we're supposed to do at budget time in terms of, you know, approving the funding, which we do, but on a monthly basis, are we not to be engaged as well? If we're not, no, that's new to me, but that's okay. If that's the format, then so be it.
So, Mr. Chair, if I go, Sorry,
Jessica, did you want to
Jessica?
respond to that question?
I'm not, through you, Mr. Chair, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by engaged on a monthly basis, but our department provides regular updates on what we do. So we're here today to talk about transit shelters, what we're purchasing, where it's going. We were here not that long ago to say, you funded East Royalty, we're doing East Royalty, here's the details, here's how many times a day, here's all the information. So whenever we act on budget or plans, it always comes back to council and committee to engage you in that conversation. There's nothing we do on transit that should be a surprise to you, and you should be kept well informed. And if there's something happening that you're finding you're missing information on, let us know and we'll do better at communicating. But I regularly put transit information within the weekly updates that go to you through communications department as well. We do lots of social media. I don't think there's really anything happening with transit that you are probably not aware of right now.
All right,
Mr.
thank you,
Chair.
Jessica. Your worship.
yeah, just again, I'm going back to section 2 of the Transit Coordinating Committee Terms of Reference and Operating Agreement. It's to deal with all matters arising out of the transit agreement. So the agreement is an agreement that's been signed by all 3 municipalities. So all 3 municipalities have input on that agreement, in which reference is made to the committee to cooperatively promote the transit system in and between the municipalities and to provide direction and feedback to Trias on our operational matters relating to the transit service. So, Mr. Chair, thank you for allowing me to bring this up. And I just want to say that this transit system has been in place for 20 years. It had a rocky start, but if anything, it's a success story, and it's growing to be more and more of a success story because of this cooperation, shared responsibilities amongst the 3 municipalities. Too bad we couldn't get more shared responsibilities like water and wastewater, other issues that we can all do cooperatively. But this is one that's working, and it's going to continue to work, and appreciate the work that staff's doing, and also the CAOs or the designates that they send to that meeting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. No, you are correct. The transit system being in place for over 20 years, it is a success story. As I do a report at council every month, ridership increases year after year over every month. I forgot to welcome Deputy Mayor Yankoff is joining us today as well. So, Mitch, well, let's wrap it up so we can move on with our meeting.
Can we, as a committee, get a report from the capital areas transit coordinating committee? Can we get a report on a monthly basis as to what the issues are that they're dealing with, how they're addressing them, what the challenges are, and what their solutions are? Can we get a report once a month submitted to this committee? Because they're representing the city of Charlottetown. So my request is, on a monthly basis, can we get a report submitted to this committee so we can become fully aware of what the issues are, what the challenges are, and what the solutions are? That's just a suggestion that I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Mr. Chair?
Could that go through to an email out to the members of the committee instead of tying up, another report time?
Yeah. So, Mr. Chair, that means we have to amend section 9, which says the committee shall provide a semi-annual report to the municipalities on the ongoing operation of the transit service. So the three CAOs will have to sit down and agree to, instead of a semi-annual, it'd have to be a monthly. So that's a request that Councillor Tweel's making. You can forward it on. Yeah, that's at the discretion of the chair.
Can you read that again?
It says here, Section 9, so that municipal councils remain informed as to the ongoing operation of the transit service, the committee shall provide a semi-annual report to the municipalities on the ongoing operation of the transit service, which shall include information such as ridership statistics. And I think we get those ridership statistics on a monthly basis.
Every month or?
Yeah, demographic ridership trends, that'd be interesting. The results of any surveys conducted, route analysis, that would help. And updates on matters such as pass status, ongoing pilot projects, and trial routes and recommendations for the transit service. Anyways, so something, it would have to be amended.
So if we have to amend the agreement, is
That's
that
right.
all three municipalities would have to agree?
Would have to agree, correct.
So if they don't agree.
And that means the reports just don't come to Charlottetown. They go to Stratford, Cornwall, and Charlottetown.
Careful what we wish for.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
That's my recommendation.
Okay. It'll be moved on, so it'll be looked at.
Thank you.
Did you want a resolution for that, or just?
Do we need a motion for that?
Well, I agree with the terms of reference, semi-annual. I don't want to put more work on a system that is trying to be more participant ridership response, so I agree with the semi-annual report.
Well, I guess we're in disagreement, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor.
won't be the first time.
That's fine. Oh, you're right.
All right, we have two, we'll have to move on. Everybody want to get out of here?
Yeah, no, anyway, I just wanted to bring that, well,
12:50?
I wanted to bring that to the forefront because I want to be consistent with what I did last month, consistent this month. I think we need to become more informed. Thank you.
Okay, under reports and discussions, 6A, Anna Keenan on deck with transit shelter and bench purchase.
Thank you.
Sorry, one sec.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I don't have clear direction on the outcome of that since there was a tie. Do you have to break the tie?
I'll break it. I agree with the semi-annual.
Okay.
So
Thank
let's,
you.
status quo.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anna?
Great. Moving to the report on, I'll just find it on my screen here. This is requesting council approval to move ahead purchasing materials for 4 new transit shelters and 12 transit benches. We put out an RFQ for two large custom shelters. One is at the BioVectra location and one is at the Indigo Good Life stop on University Avenue. And we requested pricing on 4 standard-sized transit shelters. We were intending for 2 of those to be for the city and 2 of those to be for one of our partners in Cornwall. But for the city's actual purchase, we'll only be purchasing 2 new transit shelters. It's important for councillors to be aware that the Indigo Good Life stop on University Avenue, there are currently 2 small transit shelters there. And when the large custom shelter is installed there, it's one of our busiest shelters or busiest stops in the city. Those 2 existing shelters will move to new locations. So while we're only purchasing 2 new standard-sized transit shelters, we get 4 new locations as a result of this rearrangement of our existing infrastructure. There are 12 transit benches being ordered here, and that will be for placement within the new shelters that are being built, and then an additional 4 for existing shelters where there are no benches present where people need to be seated. So the details of the 2 quotes that we received are included in the report from Daytech and NSACOM. And we're recommending to go with Daytech for the shelter materials and benches. But we are recommending that the tempered glass not be ordered at this time because we want to After we have the specifications for the exact dimensions of the glass, we'd like to go out to local glass suppliers to get those glass panels, and the cost on the glass is a small portion of the overall cost. It's, a few $1,000s in a $100,000 project, but we'd like to get those from a local glass supplier. That's the request before council. The total order that we'd like to place is $110,785, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Anna. Looking at the report there, the last couple of nights, looks like all good locations. I do have a question. The two large custom shelters are different prices.
That's right.
How come? I didn't
Yeah,
read that.
they're different. They're two different designs. So for the one on University Avenue, I recall it's 10 by 12 feet, and it's got entrances on both sides. One's from the parking lot, and then the other entrance goes out to the sidewalk and to University Avenue. And then the one opposite BioVectra on Aviation Avenue is, I think, 6 feet by 16 feet long. So it's a long rectangular shelter rather than being more square. And the particular dimensions there are to accommodate the number of staff and in recognition that it's a very wind-exposed location in the winter. So we chose to go with a different design that can accommodate that crowd.
Does each municipality responsible for their own shelters and benches?
Yeah, that's correct. So we're fully responsible for the cost, and then Cornwall is responsible for the one shelter that they're going to purchase this year.
Okay. One more question. You mentioned the glass. You're going to get it, not going with the tempered glass. Will it come with glass at all, or are you just...
This order is just going to be the, I suppose, the metal posts and the roof and the solar panel and the advertising panel and the lights in the shelter. So they'll all have a backlit advertising panel that will be lit overnight, and that's particularly important in the winter. And then we will order tempered glass panels to fit from a local glass supplier. There were just some differences between I think the two quotes that we received from Daytech and NSACOM, they bid on slightly different things that didn't exactly match the specifications we'd put in the RFQ. So we want to just get specifically what we want here. We're going to go for plain glass panels without the black design that you might see in some of our older shelters here, because we found that they're easier to replace if they break. And just for consistency, plain glass panels, tempered glass so that they're strong, is what we'd like, and there are local suppliers available. With the glass, the major portion of the cost, if we're getting it from off-island, is the cost of transportation, so there's a big saving if we get it from a local company.
Okay, thank you, Anna. No, if we can support local and businesses in any way, it's good news. Councillor Twill, you have a question?
Thank you for your report, Anna. Question I have is, and I think, Jessica, if you go back 2 or 3 years ago, I was contacted by a constituent near Gower Street. There's no bus shelter on St. Peter's Road in Gower. There's a heavy concentration of seniors that live in that community, people with disabilities. I don't see that proposed bus stop with a shelter on St. Peter's Road, which is one of the busiest streets in the city of Charlottetown. Is there a reason why that shelter is not included in this proposal?
Yeah. So I'll have to look specifically at the Gower Street location, but the way that we chose the shelters for this proposal, we considered a bunch of different incoming requests. We assessed them for what we know of the ridership and the sort of weather exposure at those locations. And then we assessed, what's the frequency of service, so that we're making sure that we're making the most use of the resources that we're putting in. And importantly for this year's construction, also, do we have the right to build on that land, or could we secure it before the end of this construction season? So there are another list. We've already begun on the design for work that will happen next year. There's One additional consideration is we need to work with our operator on the ideal spacing. And if I look at the map of Gower Street on St. Peter's Road, that's one of the spaces where we have quite closely spaced bus stops. And so we're just needing to confirm the exact locations for bus stops. So there are other locations that we're not 100% ready to build this year, but we're still in the process of planning for future years. So I'd be happy to look again at the Gower Street stop for next year's list or the following.
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, if it can be added to and looked at. Are the Cassidys involved in any of the consultation for the shelters?
Yes, we ask them for suggestions. They tell us where they think new shelters should go. The Indigo location on University Avenue is one of those examples. And then at other locations that we've had requests from residents or councillors, or that we've judged professionally that we need a shelter at, we run them by our operator. Sometimes it involves relocating exactly where the bus will stop on a corner, and so we get their confirmation and then we move forward. So they have been consulted. I meet with them every 2 weeks and email them back and forth much more frequently than that.
Great. Thank you very much, Anna. Councillor Twill, follow up?
Yeah, just want to, again, just reiterate Gower, or St. Peter's Road, Gower. We have a lot of development that's taking place on Gower, Harley Street. We have St. Pius Church. We have a school on Confederation Street. It's a very, very busy intersection. Lots of seniors, lots of students. So please have a look at that location again. Secondly, we did have a shelter at one time. I believe we did in front of Devar Court. Residents would love to have the opportunity to wait in a shelter, particularly during the winter season when we're battling all the weather elements. We have Devar Court, we have Queens Court, and we have a lot of seniors living in that particular community that take advantage of the transit. So I wanted to bring that to your attention as well. If you could please have a look at that as well, Anna.
Thank you. For Duvar Court in particular, we did discuss that one with our operators, and because there is a vestibule in the building and it's also one of the lower frequency lines, there's only 5 stops a day on the community bus route Monday to Friday, as opposed to 16 or 20 or 24 stops on some other routes. And what happens at Duvar Court is the bus will pull up and they'll wait, and in the winter months, the drivers can see into the vestibule of the building to see if there's somebody waiting there. And so that's more preferable than waiting in a 3-sided shelter, which has one side open, so it allows them to wait in the warmth. And so that was one reason why Duvar Court in particular was not on this year's priority list.
Chair?
Councillor, Your Worship?
Did you get my photos?
Hmm?
Did you get my photos?
I'm just looking at them there now.
So, Mr. Chair, I just want to ask a question about Anna or Jessica. I'm looking in the capital budget. So does this fall under transit? It says buses, 8.8 million. Infrastructure, $400,900. Is that, we're taking
Yes,
that?
it's under the $400,000 infrastructure line.
Very much welcome the biovector stop at Aviation Avenue, because I think there are approximately 400 plus employees at BioVector, and a lot of them are transit riders. And I'm sure that you may get staff that work at the airport that would venture over there. But then again, I'm sure we're catering to that group also. Great to see that. Just some of the photos I just sent Anna, Jessica, to our chair. The bus shelter on University Avenue that stands in front of Sharper's Drug Mart. Mm-hmm. The photo I have is that someone had to take a chair to put inside the shelter because there was nowhere to sit for some of the seniors. And I think if you look at some of the other photos, Mr. Chair, on Grafton Street, where we have, I guess it's by default terminus, between Queen and Great George. So on the north side, we have riders that are catching the bus going north, but there's no bus shelter there. I'm not saying that I'm asking for shelters on the north side, but is there a way that we can accommodate some of these situations where it's going to be quite difficult to put something there that would provide shelter for any of the riders, young, old, disabled, non-disabled, and so forth. But I know with the seniors, Jessica, at the seniors engagement advisory committee, for a couple of years they'd be promoting the seating that is slanted, because it's easier for seniors to basically stand up and lean back. Of course, someone would say, why don't we just if you put the benches there, that creates other social issues. So are we looking at a hybrid or a mix of traditional benches with a slant to them?
Yep.
Any ideas there, Anna or Jessica, or I guess Anna?
Thank you. Yeah, I can take that one through you, Mr. Chair. With the Shoppers Drug Mart location is one of the shelters that we know doesn't have a bench in it, and so that's why we're ordering the 12 extra benches for installation this year, so that will get an installed bench, and that's going to be the same design as we've had, traditional bench. For the Grafton Street location, both the south and north sides of the street, we've been waiting on the Grafton Street master plan, and so we're redoing the downtown bus terminal effectively, and that interchange between all of the different routes. It's also the main destination for many of our transit riders. We're waiting on, I suppose, a larger project to be approved and discussed, and that'll take a lot of collaboration with Public Works. But the plan is that when that realignment on Grafton Street is complete and we can move the buses all the way to the curb on the south side instead of stopping as they do in the traffic lane behind parked cars right now, when we can move them all the way to the curb, expand the curb so there's much more walking space, then more of the buses will be rerouted so that they stop on the south side. So there'll only be one bus doing a touch and go stop on the north side instead of having large numbers of people waiting on that north side of Grafton.
Yeah, and that collaboration, Mr. Chair, is not just with Public Works, but also our stakeholders in the community.
That's correct.
Our business owners, operators, hotel operators, and so forth. So, and I know that discussion's been going on. Then we have another issue with the Queen Street Parkade. So there's a lot of balls in the air. So at least it's on the radar. But again, getting back to the slanted bench, that's not a option. So is it, with the traditional bench, is it possible to raise it a little higher? Because that's what we've done with some of our benches in the downtown for seniors. They find that the higher bench, you may be dangling your feet, but it allows them.
I would love to hear sort of more of those recommendations. That hasn't come through to me. So this order is for the regular transit benches.
But in the future.
In the future, that's,
Perfect.
yeah, I'm all for more accessibility.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll move this resolution.
Moved on to council by your worship, seconded by Councillor Twill. So go on to council. All in favor?
I'm in favor. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Walker, you're up. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Better Homes Program 2024.
Yeah, so I just wanted to provide a kind of a recap of last fiscal year's Better Homes Neighborhood Energy Project and just provide a quick update on this year's program. Just as a recap, Better Homes Neighborhood Energy Project, sometimes just called Better Homes, is a collaboration between the City of Charlottetown and Efficiency PEI to provide a neighborhood level energy engagement project tailored to homeowners in Charlottetown. The project has always been intended to reduce barriers, make it easy for homeowners to access programs and get a little bit more information about energy-related topics. And so from our greenhouse gas inventory, we see that residential emissions in Charlottetown make up more than 21% of the total community emissions. And so these emissions are mainly due to fossil fuel heating. And so, switching to heat pumps, improving insulation in your homes, these are ways that, these emissions can be lowered. So from the 2019 Better Homes project, it was shown that that homeowners that participated in the program were twice as likely to access efficiency PEI's equipment rebates. So these are things like heat pumps and other energy-saving rebates. And they were 4 times as likely to access the home insulation rebates, which is a key rebate that they have. Home insulation is something that you can't see it, so it's not flashy and not showy, but it has a big impact on energy savings. It also showed a 60% increase in homeowners' self-reported energy efficiency knowledge. So they were kind of reported how much they kind of knew about energy efficiency before and then after, and it increased by 60%. So overall, the project is has a big impact on those homeowners that take part in it. So collaboration with the province and efficiency PEI has always been a focus in our community energy plan and now our climate action plan. Currently, we have an action to continue to collaborate with the province and efficiency PEI. We hold quarterly meetings with the province just to touch base with them. And efficiency PEI has always been a great partner. So the current target in the climate action plan is to now expand the Better Homes program to provide support to 1,000 homes per year by 2030. Currently, we've been doing about 40 homes. Last year, the aim was for 50 homes. And then for this year, the aim is to increase it to 100 homes for this year's program. 1,000 homes per year, it's a high target to set, but we want to aim high. And eventually it'd be nice to be able to provide the program for everyone in Charlottetown at a future date. So up until this point, the program has provided support for 4 different neighborhoods since 2019. This year will be the 5th neighborhood to be chosen. And I've attached a map here of the neighborhood that was involved last fiscal year. So it's a neighborhood in Sherwood, just kind of adjacent to the bypass highway and to Belvedere Golf Course. So sign-up's always on a first-come, first-served basis. We held a neighborhood engagement session where we invited everybody in the neighborhood and past participants in the program to join us. We just sort of had a few presentations from efficiency PEI and myself on different energy efficiency topics, and just sort of providing some knowledge on the program itself and how timelines and how it would look. So the aim again was for about 50 homes last year. We had 45 households sign up, and in the end, about 26 households progressed through the program. Some of that was due to people just not responding after they had signed up, or just receiving a energy audit and not continuing on with the rest of the services. The services that are included in the program are a free energy audit with a one-on-one consultation with the energy auditor after you receive your report, which is one of the kind of benefits of this program. That one-on-one consultation doesn't necessarily happen with if you were to just go get an energy audit done yourself. So it's just a bit more focused on letting the homeowner know about the report, what everything means in there. They'll also let them know about other rebates that are available and kind of more, specific to that home. They're not going to tell them rebates that don't pertain to them. Like I said, the goal for this year is to provide the service for 100 households. So I'm currently working with Efficiency PEI to pick that neighborhood. And we've confirmed that there's an energy auditing company that they use that will be able to provide that service for us this year. Neighborhoods are chosen, prioritized by a few factors such as income level, age of homes, if we know like the energy efficiency of those homes in those areas, and also community engagement is a big thing too. So if we've had particular areas of the city that have people that have homeowners that are engaging us and really keen on and doing the project, then that goes a long way too. Ultimately, the goal is to transition the program to one that runs just throughout the year instead of kind of a one-off thing that happens every year. And so the way that would work would be, instead of picking a defined neighborhood, we would have a prioritization list of areas of the city and streets, and it could be broken up into streets, and which we would then kind of work our way through the city, starting with the top priority areas, and avoiding areas that we've serviced before in the past, but eventually working our way back to those areas after everywhere else has been has had the program through their area. This will require a high level of coordination between the city and Efficiency PEI, but I think it can be manageable. Within a few years, we'll be able to transition to that. And thank you. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Nick, for your report. I have a couple of little questions. You had mentioned you have a high target of 1,000 a year. This year they're looking to do 100, but you haven't picked the neighborhood yet, and you're still working with Efficiency PEI. So what's your timeline between now and December 31st to get those 100 houses completed? Is that possible? Is it doable? Second question I have is, can any resident in the city call and do this, or do they specifically have to be in that neighborhood? I'm hoping this can be anybody within the city of Charlottetown that can call and get put on the list.
To answer your first question, Mr. Chair, the timeline, aim of the timeline is to start in October, to start the energy audits. The people that get the energy audit done first would, move over and get their consultation, and then the winter warming part. We try to make that as smooth as possible, because with 100 households, it does take a long time to get through that whole list. So ideally, we would start in October doing the energy audits. It might be until December or maybe even January when the final audits are being completed. But the intention is to, the first people to get the energy audit kind of works their way through the program within a few weeks or maybe a month. And then maybe somebody that is getting their energy audit done in January, they're getting their audit, and then within a few weeks of that, they're getting their consultation and the winter warming. So it can be, the program can be completed even with 100 homeowners before the end of the fiscal year, for sure. Second question is, at the moment, it is based on a specific neighborhood. Like as we've done in the past, we will choose a boundary of anybody within that neighborhood will be able to apply. So we aren't at the point where we can offer it to everybody in the city. It is still based on a priority neighborhood that between Efficiency PEI and ourselves have chosen, kind of based on some of these factors. If we do ever transition to kind of a more open-ended project, it will still be based on kind of priority areas, but it won't necessarily be one specific boundary. It'll be more, here's the top 5 areas of the city that anybody from that area can kind of apply. The logistics of that need to be worked out still, and so we haven't transitioned to a program like that, but that's kind of the ultimate goal.
Okay, no, thank you for your explanation, but just looking at the stats that you had given prior to the other 100 homes, 40, I think some signed up for it, 26 followed through with the whole thing, so that leaves a lot of, I guess, openings there for other residents, so hopefully, as you say, you work through the logistics of this, that it can open up to other residents, that they can't get shut out. They could be years waiting if that's the case, so. Any other questions? Councillor Twill.
Thank you for your report, very informative. You've illustrated a neighborhood in the Sherwood community. I'd like to get a map, if you have a map of the city where, different neighborhoods have participated in the past, just to give a much more global perspective. And as you pointed out in your presentation, prerequisites are based on income level, age of the homes, and community engagement. So after this particular year, I'm assuming you're going to be looking at another neighborhood that you'll tap into. Could we get a synopsis as to the success of the program where people have participated in the past? I know the Switch program went over very well. Some of the residents in my community participated in that program. They were very pleased. But again, just to reiterate, I'd like to get a map of the city where different neighborhoods have participated. The success stories, so that gives us a much, again, a citywide view of that participation. We talk about the strengths of the programs or collaboration with the province. If we look at the strengths and the weaknesses of the programs, what are the strengths versus the weaknesses? If it was up to you and you could say, I want to eliminate these disparities and these discrepancies, what are they and how would you go about it?
Through you, Chair. Yes, and actually this map, if I was to open up my GIS and zoom out, I have all the areas that we've kind of provided the program to in the past. So I'd be able to provide a map of where we've touched in the city with the program. I'd also be able to maybe use GIS, our GIS group to help, create like a heat map or something like that, if that would help, of homes that have participated in that as well too. And that'll even guide the future projects as well, to know where we've been in the city before and where else we should be going based on where it hasn't happened in the past. And for your question on programs that program impact, the whole point of this program is these are all services that are available to most homeowners in PEI through efficiency PEI in the province. But the point of this program is to kind of package it all together, provide a little bit of added support with the one-on-one consultations. But really, most people can kind of take advantage of these programs. But we're making it free for homeowners. The energy audit typically costs money, so we're making that free. Some homeowners don't normally qualify for the winter warming, so we're just, whoever's involved in this program, we're just allowing that everybody involved to take part in that. So we're just kind of doing a little bit of hand-holding that normally these homeowners would have to, find their way through these programs and find it online and, find what they should be doing next. So this kind of helps them work their way through the programs and then on to the rebates and anything else that's available, whereas typically a homeowner would have to manage that themselves.
Mr. Chair,
Yep. Thank you, Nick. Your worship.
I just want to ask Nick's our global man. Nick, if you look at homes, what amount of greenhouse emissions do homes contribute to the big picture? Am I out of line by saying 40%?
Through you, Chair. Based on our greenhouse gas inventory, which I will be reporting at our next committee meeting, homes in Charlottetown account for 21% of our community emissions. You know, and kind of like I said, there's electricity is in Charlottetown a bit cleaner than other communities. So the emissions from electricity, you know, they account for some, but it's mainly the heating part of homes that account for those emissions.
But more and more homes are getting heated through
Yeah.
heat pumps,
So-
geothermal. Like, that's all contributing to reducing our carbon footprint. So, Nick, when you look for doing other maps, take Spring Park Road from Highland Avenue up to Pond Street and go west, and that's a good neighborhood to
Okay.
check into.
We'll
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Thank you.
And if I could just follow up quickly, Mr. Chair. And if you could, I'm just looking online for the shelters on what we just discussed. I'm on their website. Could you just send us some of the images of what is proposed in your, just not right away, just when you get a moment, because it looks quite interesting. And I did forget to mention about the discussion on transit. Forgot to mention our partner, Triple P partner, Trias. They're a very important part of this effort with the three communities, so appreciate all the work that they're doing. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and it's a great meeting.
Thank you for your comments. Any new business? Seeing none, motion to adjourn. Thank you, Your Worship. Seconded by Councillor Twill. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Councillor Ramsey, for attending us.